Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Uriel Hernandez. In this video we will review the WSDL and XSD files because they are an important part of the Soa Suite tutorial. Let's start talking about Soa. Oracle Soa Suite is a pluggable software suite that enables you to build, deploy and manage integrations using service-oriented architecture. Now let's talk about XML schema definition. An XSD file is a file used to define what elements and attributes may appear in an XML document. It also defines the relationship of the elements and what data may be stored in them. And finally, the WSDL file, Web Service Description Language. WSDL is an XML-based definition language. It is used for describing the functionality of a SOAP web service. Okay, now begins the fun. Let's get our hands dirty. Here we have these two folders. In this one we are going to store the projects, and in Soa MDS we are going to store all the MDS files. Okay, we can create a new application, Soa application. Let's name Hello World. Okay, the application name will be Soa Tutorial. Let's write and package prefix. Now for the project name it will be Hello World. Click next. Okay, in this section we can choose empty composite. We can choose some predefined templates or some custom template, but in this case we are going to choose empty composite. Click finish. Here we have our Soa application. We can see some folders. All the files that we create will be stored in these folders. For example, WSDL files, XSD files. Let's start by creating a new file. We will create an XSD file, so select from gallery, then type schema. We choose XML schema. Okay, now we type the name. We choose the location where we will store this file. Let's name it Hello World. XSD. We need to type our target namespace, allaboutsoftware.org/hello world. This will be the address of our file. Then we need to type our prefix. Okay, here we have a test element. We can edit either in design mode or source mode. We can change the name Here we have our target namespace. Click save the file. Okay, here we have our default encoding, but I don't want this, so we need to change the default encoding. Go to menu, tools, preferences. On environment, we can change our look and feel, line terminator. Finally, we can select our default encoding. In this case, I will choose this one. Okay, we click save. We need to delete this file. Okay, we will create this file again. Hello world. We change our namespace. All about software.org/hello world. Okay, tutorial/hello world. Our prefix, then select OK. Now we have our encoding. Okay, I will erase this. Okay, now we are ready. We can modify the element in design mode or in source mode. We're going to start from scratch. We need to add a complex type, name it hello world request type. We can copy this. We will change the name. This is gonna be hello response type. We need to add a sequence inside. Let's type the sequence again inside the response. We are going to add the first element. The name is gonna be ID and the type is gonna be an number. Integer. We close the element, we add another element. Name it name, and the type is gonna be a string. we are going to add an element for the response, name it result type string. Okay, here we have our types. Hello request type and response type. We just need to add new elements, one element for the request and one element for the response. As a good practice, we have to define a nomenclature. In this case, I'm gonna use uppercase for the types, and the elements will start with a lowercase letter. Hello request, and its type, it's gonna be the one that we have already defined in our XSD file. This is gonna be hello request type. We can reference the type by our prefix. All the standard types are in the XSD prefix, but my custom type is in the prefix that I define. And we need one element for the response. Hello response. We just reference the prefix and the response type. We click save, and here we have hello request references the hello request type. It contains our elements that we define. We can see the elements are in blue and the types are in orange color. And that's it. We finish our XSD file. Now let's go to WSDL. We need to add a WSDL to create a new WSDL, and we need to choose the folder. Okay, here we have our WSDL. Let's format. We need to change the target namespace, so let's move to the end of the file. We can use the almost the same namespace that we already defined in the XSD file. We are going to change this namespace. We are going to type types, so the target namespace is like the address of the file, so We are just going to copy the first part, click save, and this is gonna be our namespace. I will remove this, click save, and we can add a prefix for this whistle. Now all the tags need to reference our prefix. If we change the prefix, we need to change all the tags that uses this prefix. So for this example, we are going to continue working with whistle. Click save. This is the design of our whistle. We are going to edit in source mode. We are going to add the types section. We are going to add the schema. We need to import our schema. We need to define the schema location, and we also need the namespace of the XSD file. Okay, for the schema location, we need to go to the root folder. We need to select a schemas folder. Then we need to type our XSD file. For the schema location, you need to be really careful, because if you write another name or another letter, for example, if you type a lowercase, your project is not going to work. Okay, now we copy the namespace, we paste the namespace, and we have already our types. And we need to define a new prefix that will reference our the namespace of the XSD file. In this case, hello world type, it's gonna be our prefix. You can identify with this that the file does not contain any issues. If it contains an error, the color is not going to be green. So here we have our import. artifacts, but we don't have any artifact yet. Okay, we already defined the type section, so we need to define now the message section. Port section, our WSDL file needs to contain some sections like port, pending, and service section. This section will be populated at runtime. When we deploy our service in the WebLogic server, this section is going to have the location of the service, but when we are defining the section, we don't need to populate this section. We just need to populate message, port, pending, and the type section. And the menu tools preferences, we're going to increase the size of the font. We can change the color of the code editor. We need to increase the size of the fonts. Okay. So we need to add a message tag. Inside we need to add a part. This is gonna be the name. Hello request part. And the type, we are going to reference the one that is already defined in the XSD file. This is our hello request message, hello request part, and it references the type. Okay, we need to define the hello response message. We can copy and paste. We can change request for response. We need to do the same for the part, hello response part, and the same for the type. We are going to choose hello response type. Okay. Click save. In the design mode, you can see your message, hello request message, we need to define the port and the bindings. So go to the source mode, and we need to add the tag port type. The name will be hello world port. This section is going to store all the operations that we define in our WSDL file. Remember that we can store any operations that we want. In this case, let's name it this operation, say hello. Inside of the operation, we need to define our input and our output, and we need to reference our hello request message, this one. Name it input message. Okay, we close. We need to define our output message. We need to reference the response and name it output message. We can add another message, we can insert message operation. Okay, if we want to use a fault message, we need to add in here, but in this case we are just using request and response message. Now we need to define the binding part. We will name it hello world binding. And this binding needs to reference our port that we have already defined. Hello world port. Okay, we close the tag of the binding. And well, we have some warnings that are indicating that we are missing what we need to bound our operation. Another important part is that we need to indicate that we need to use our transport HTTP transport, so we need to use, let's see, namespace from Soa. Okay, we can use this one. Okay, this is not the same that we need to use for HTTP, but this is gonna work. We don't need WSDL, and we need to add HTTP. Okay, close the tag. Now we are ready to bind the operation. The name of the operation needs to be the same that the one that we have already defined in our port. Say hello. If we change the name, the WSDL cannot reference our operation, so it needs to be the same name. And we need to add swap operation. We need to add our swap action. This is going to be the name of the operation. Remember that we can use any operations. Swap action, it's going to be the address of our operation, so we copy the namespace slash say hello. If we have defined another operation, that operation should have its own address. Now we need to define our input. Input message. We close our input. And the swap body is going to use literal. We close our swap body. We need to define WSDL output, name it output message. We need to define the body, and it's going to use the same literal body, just literal. We close, and here we have click save. Go to the design mode, and you can see all the changes that we have done, the bindings, the part, the message that we have defined. Everything is okay. We have completed our WSDL file. We have completed this video. Remember to subscribe to the video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. We will see you on the next video.